Hello friends, today we are going to discuss English Renaissance, that is the influence of Renaissance English literature. So to begin with, Renaissance is rejuvenation, is regeneration. It is the regeneration of classical learning, Greco-Roman learning. Western and history can be divided into three, that is ancient, medieval and modern. Ancient history is considered as golden history because of unparalleled literary output of this age, because of highly philosophical writings in the ancient periods by Aristotle, Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, Cicero, Homer, so on and so forth. And Renaissance as a literary movement, it is not merely literary movement, but also the influence of Renaissance can be felt in cultural and other intellectual aspects as well. But Renaissance as a literary movement began in Italy in the late 14th century and remained there for 100 years, and eventually came to England. And so far as the precise date of English Renaissance is concerned, we can from 1500 to 1660. That is, the Renaissance period in England covers early Tudor periods, Elizabethan periods, Jacobean periods, Caroline period, Commonwealth period or Puritan interregnum. So European history can be divided into three, that is ancient, medieval and modern. Ancient history is considered to be golden, ancient period considered to be golden age because of its unfathomable literary output, intellectual discussions, so on and so forth, which was characterized by the artistic creations of other philosophical thoughts of Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, Cicero. But the Middle Age is considered as the Dark Age. It was characterized by Black Death, so many turmoils, peasants' revolt, which greatly affected literature. So the effect was degenerative. In fact, that's why Middle Age is considered to be Dark Age. For instance, the Black Death, act of Black Death in William Langland's vision of Piers Plowman, and the peasants' revolt is found in Goward's Vox Clamentis. So the age was not so productive in literature because of so many reasons. But with the rebirth of the modern age is considered to be as a productive age, both in literature as well as in other aspects. In the modern age, Renaissance took place from in the late 14th century. How Renaissance took place, that is an important issue, because of one of the important factor behind the growth of Renaissance is the invention of printing press. With the invention of printing press in 1476 in England by Caxton, earlier text of antiquity, that is of classical learning, were multiplied, were copied, were printed and circulated throughout the world, or the Western world. As a result, people could know and learn classical learning the learning the philosophical texts of Plato, Aristotle, Cicero, Homer, so on and so forth. And it was the Petrarch who is considered as the father of English Renaissance. He is considered as a father because of his sonnet sequences, because of his writings, which are quite non-conformistic in style. His sonnets are based on Platonic ideas of love, on friendship, and on humanism. So let us understand the forces behind Renaissance. One of the forces behind the Renaissance is humanism, and this took its shape or took its function from the writings of Aristotle, Aristotle's Poetics, Ethics, Rhetoric, so on and so forth, and Plato as well. So humanism in Renaissance has a great impact on its literature. Humanism, the purpose of literature of the Renaissance was as to make people humanistic, ethical in their views. And in this connection, there are many texts as well we find. Humanism gave emphasis to human dignity, human reasoning, and it believed that after all it is human, and that should be given importance, and a shift from God centered to human centered, and there came, it was characterized by a shift from God centered to human centered. The medieval age was characterized by faith, mere faith, faith with an overlook of reason. But Renaissance humanism gave importance to human reason. It believed that the reason in human is essential to understand the universe, and it can change the universe towards prosperity. So humanism gave Renaissance its foundation. Humanism gave Renaissance poets, Renaissance writers the strength to write in an iconoclastic way. So another force of Renaissance, that is Reformation. Reformation in religion, the religious faith, the Orthodox was shifted by Protestant views. Martin Luther and Calvin, both scholars, their role is quite significant. In England, the battle of Reformation was fought between William Tyndale and Thomas More. Tyndale was a Protestant, while Thomas More was a Catholic. But eventually, this was resolved. The battle was resolved. While Renaissance spirit of Protestantism made a shift from mere faith to reason, and Catholicism was based on Protestantism. In Renaissance made a compromise between faith and reason, between faith and human ability, and this can be seen in the writings of William Shakespeare. The spirit of Protestantism in English Renaissance can be well understood in the writings of Christopher Marlowe. If we see the drama, that is Dr. Faustus, we find and a Renaissance man's quest for knowledge and to remain free from any religious influences. Another important force was Aristotelianism, Platonism, so on and so forth. But to so many literary genres like sonnet writing, Petrarch is considered as the father of sonnets, and from Petrarch, by imitating Petrarch, White and his friend Henry Howard introduced sonnets in England. So with the introduction of sonnet sequences in England, and with the introduction of sonnet sequences in England, White and Surrey introduced or imported sonnets of Petrarchan tradition, which was followed by their colleagues, followed by later sonnetiers like Spenser, Sidney, William Shakespeare. Mainly they followed, and although both White and Henry Howard, Earl of Surrey, wrote less than 100 sonnets each, but Shakespeare wrote 154 sonnets. Sidney also wrote so many sonnets. They also wrote sonnet sequences like Astrophel and Stella. Spenser wrote Amority, so on and so forth. So these sonnets dealt with love, friendship, human relationship, and new ideas, forming, giving a broad perspective, a viewpoint towards the world. So these were mainly educative in nature, and these sonnets played significant role. Another literary genre in the Renaissance period was its drama. Drama reached its peak position in Renaissance period, and we find beautiful dramas. So many important dramas are there in Renaissance period. In case of drama, we can say before the Renaissance period or after the Renaissance period, we don't find such type of climactic position of drama in English. So which was popularized and which was perfected to its height by William Shakespeare. Apart from Shakespeare, there were so many other dramatists like Christopher Marlowe, Ben Jonson, and so on and so forth. But William Shakespeare, by his dramas, as history comedies, tragicomedies, so on and so forth, made a revolution in the intellectual domain of this period. Drama basically tragedy. Basically, to say tragedies were Renaissance tragedies were influenced by Seneca. That is, most of the Renaissance tragedies were revenge-based tragedies. Seneca, as a Roman tragedian, believed that it is the readiness or ripeness which is, after all, everything. It is the character's endurance and patience that will determine his position in life. So, in case of drama, we find a shift from medieval or classical rules. For example, as far as classical rules of drama is concerned, there should be beginning, middle, and end. But William Shakespeare is quite exceptional. He he did not follow all the rules of classical antiquity. And the most important thing, the shift in Renaissance drama is the shift from fate to character. Earlier it was considered that fate is the ultimate destiny of a tragic hero. Fate, if the hero is to undergo pains or sufferings or final catastrophe, that is determined by his fate, and it was their assumption that whatever happens in our society, that tragedy, catastrophe, misfortunes, all are due to our fate, due to the fact that everything were written in our luck, to be considered as bad luck. But in the writings of Christopher Marlowe, in the writings of William Shakespeare, we find in that character himself is responsible for his consequences, character's own deeds, his own decisions are the marker, are the reasons for his so a shift from fate to situations, fate to character's own character is quite discernible in Renaissance literature. Apart from these, there are also some other literary genres like epic, like Spenser's The Faerie Queene is called the masterpiece of Elizabethan period. Other than Milton's Paradise Lost, before Milton's Paradise Lost, we don't find such a great epic in English literature like Faerie Queene, written by Spenser. So the age, to say, is characterized by poetry, sonnet sequences, pastorals, dramas, so on and so forth. In connection to, so far as non-fictional writing is concerned, we don't find any significant non-fictional writing in this period, or the growth of non-fictional writing in this period. Basically, the Elizabethan or the Renaissance is not merely the Elizabethan period, as I have already told you, that it comprises Tudor period, Elizabethan period, Jacobean period, Caroline period, Puritan interregnum, and it ends with the ends in 1660. So the age is quite exuberant in its literary output, in its the age is quite fertile in its literary output, which took its inspiration from classical writings. So with that note, today we end this discussion in a brief way.